Hey guys, so I know it's been a little while. I have been busy doing a Spanish class as part of a prerequisite for college, and in order to complete the Spanish class in time, I need to take a condensed version, which means literally nonstop Spanish all of the time. So, because of that, I have not had the time that I usually do to put out videos, though I am, of course, planning on continuing this channel. Don't worry, the class ends early August, so I will probably have more time to post videos then. But in the meantime, I just wanted to post a quick casual video talking about Barbenheimer, literally the best movie event in probably the last decade. I have been extremely excited for both Barbie and Oppenheimer, especially since the meme just blew up. And yes, last Friday I did see both Oppenheimer and Barbie back to back on the same day, and it was awesome. One of the best movie-going experiences I have ever had. So, first, let's just go over my basic thoughts on both movies, starting with. So, yeah, Oppenheimer was definitely different for Christopher Nolan. It's definitely his most mature movie. Basically, it's just a giant condemnation of nuclear war and a great character analysis of Oppenheimer and how nuclear weapons probably affected him. Despite being exactly 3 hours, and the movie does feel long, but fortunately the pacing is pretty fast. Nolan intersplices a lot of scenes together, and there's rarely just one traditional movie scene. Usually they intersplice multiple related scenes together. And the best way to describe it is it's like the pacing and structure of Dunkirk, but instead of a war thriller, it's more of a drama. But it's definitely a very well-made drama, and also Christopher Nolan has very much matured as a director. This movie is one of his most surreal movies, and I mean that quite literally. Some of his movies like Inception or Tenet have very high concept ideas, and so they have visuals that look surreal, but of course they take place within the reality of the story, whereas in Oppenheimer, it very much gets inside Oppenheimer's headspace. One of my favorite moments is the speech he gives near the end of the movie. That was just one of the best Christopher Nolan scenes I've ever seen. Cillian Murphy is amazing, and it also has one of the best, if not the best, ending of any movie this year so far. Was just a fantastic movie. It's definitely within my top 5 Christopher Nolan movies. So yeah, 10 out of 10, fantastic. Then about an hour or two later, I saw. And of course, Barbie was not as good as Oppenheimer, but it was still good, and it was definitely the most fun I've had in any movie for a very long time. Mostly because I saw it with a giant audience who was super into it, and it just made the experience that much better. This movie is absolutely hilarious and a great satire on the Barbie brand. Margot Robbie is fantastic. Ryan Gosling is perfect as Ken. You can tell he's having just the time of his life in this role. So first, anti-feminists will absolutely hate this movie because it definitely goes into the concept of gender in society as a whole, as well as how the Barbie brand has affected those views on gender. Personally, I really liked it. I think some of the moments were definitely overplayed, as in okay, we've seen speeches like this before and everything, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's still good and fantastic at just poking fun at the idea of gender in society, as well as the Barbie brand. And yeah, this movie is absolutely hilarious, if I haven't said that already. It is seriously the funniest movie I've seen all year. And it was just a lot of fun. It wasn't perfect, but it was a lot of fun, and 8 out of 10. But mostly I really enjoyed just watching both movies back to back. It was such a fun and kind of insane experience. What I love most about it, though, is how this whole meme has kind of affected movie theaters, because I'm a huge proponent of seeing movies in a theater. If I have a chance to see it at home on streaming or versus a theater, I will choose a theater. I actually in high school did a psychological paper essay where I did research explaining how seeing a movie in theaters is actually better. I won't go into too much detail, but essentially everything a theater does that you don't get at home, so like a larger screen, a dark room, better audio, um, and of course, no control over the movie, i.e., you can't pause or fast forward or rewind. All of that makes you more immersed into the movie. So everything about the movie theater experience actually helps you get more immersed into the film. And so even though it's less convenient to see a movie in theaters versus at home, it's definitely worth it. And so over the past few years, there's been all this talk about how the movie experience, movie theaters are, on their way out, they're going extinct thanks to streaming. And I have been very, very concerned about this. I've been very concerned that, I'm not seeing a lot of movies in theaters be as popular anymore. And the ones that are usually like Marvel type movies and the, indies and the dramas and the more interesting movies, in my opinion, are not getting as many ticket sales in theaters. I'm not saying as many people in the auditorium, and most of them are moving straight to streaming, which has very much concerned me. Especially since there are a lot of streaming movies where it's like, I would have given anything to see The Power of the Dog in the theater. That must have been amazing. And so I've been very concerned about the future of movie theaters. And so what had me so excited about this was the fact that when I went to see Barbenheimer, this has literally been the most crowded I've ever seen the movie theater. Ever. Like, even when Endgame came out, I don't think it was this packed. Both my showings of Oppenheimer and Barbie were absolutely full, and what surprised me was even Barbie, because I went to a very, very late showing of Barbie. I went to like a 10 o'clock showing of Barbie, and it was still absolutely packed. And this has me very, very happy and excited, because to see so many people willing to go out of their way to spend the entire day at a movie theater seeing multiple great movies that are not tied to any long-term cinematic franchise or just standalone movies, and very creative and, of course, like I said, very good. Like, I love it. People are excited to go back to the movies now, and I'm hoping that this will spark an interest in people willing to go to movies more often, actually going to the theaters to see new movies and take risks, not just see the latest Marvel movie, but, something more interesting. Both Oppenheimer and Barbie, had moments where they played safe, but they also had moments where they took a lot of risks, and it paid off for both movies. So basically, Barbenheimer might have just saved the cinema, so which is why it's the best movie event that happened in a very, very long time. So if you haven't, go see both Oppenheimer and Barbie. They are both great, especially if you can see them in theaters, because Oppenheimer, because it's a Nolan movie. Nolan movies are always better in theaters. And Barbie, if you can see it with a large audience who's super into it, that just makes it 10 times better. And hopefully, if you haven't already, you'll have a better interest in seeing movies in theaters more often, because it's just better. And I just love the fact that this meme has gotten people interested in going to the theaters now. So yeah, that's Barbenheimer. Barbenheimer was awesome. This was just my thoughts on the meme. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later when I am done with this stupid Spanish class.